Hi, it's Xavier, and welcome to my bonsai retreat. It's the 17th of February. Never occurred to me I'd be repotting anything yet, and yet we've had the warmest start or end of winter that I can remember for a long time. And the biggest surprise is the Dawn Redwood are already telling me it's time for me to do my repots. All 4 of them need to be repotted, so we're going to be doing that today, and I'll just show you exactly why I know now is the time. Right here we've got the buds on all aspects of the tree, and you can actually see the pods have opened up, and in between there are the fresh starting to green new growth that we want for this spring. So we best get this sorted. Right, well, having seen just how quickly these buds are starting to swell up, perfect time. And actually I looked back onto my bonsai database. I've printed off all my repots for February, beginning of March, and funny enough the Dawn Redwood come up as the first. This was actually put into this pot 4.5 years ago. Topsoil, it looks fine, it doesn't look like it's pushing out, but truthfully when I was making up my soil mixes for these 4 or 5 years ago, it was definitely a different composition. So that's another thing that's steering me towards doing this repot. Obviously still not showing any signs of the spring growth yet, and this makes it an ideal time if you haven't done pruning in the autumn, which, as you know I did do, to go around there, rub off buds that you don't want. You've got little buds in corners, or even in this case you might think, actually I'm going to get rid of something up here, whatever. So you can do your pruning to establish the design and shape that you're looking for over the coming year. I love the shape, I love the movement this thing's got, and I love the fact this is one of my most popular videos, the original one when I did it. A little bit of wire here, not biting in yet.
Can't we stop for a bite?
Although I may well have a little bit underneath there, so I'll probably take that wire off, to be fair. It's been on there for long enough, and I do not want to risk forgetting it for fear of doing some marking. Pot wise, will it stay in this pot? It all depends when I have a look and see just how much roots there are. I know for a fact that, from my experience anyway, the Dawn Redwood, they like wet feet, and though we like to give it in a free draining soil, and I'll be using the remnants of the Kaizen number 2 soil mix that I bought last year, they also quite like being in a deeper pot. And I've had a few mishaps with putting stuff in shallower pots in 2023, and it's probably worth noting actually that all my Dawn Redwoods are getting repotted today. As I say, I think we're the 18th, 19th of February. This one, definitely small, circular, shallow round pot. Interesting shape. Long way to go yet. And in fact, I'm going to have a look at this one first to try and establish just how much root growth has been in the 4 years that that's been in that pot, because that'll help me decide whether to bother with the bigger one. Okay, so with loads of excitement and a massive drum roll, we do the first of the repots 2024. Goodness. And you can tell how long ago it was that I did any sort of potting on this one, because it's actually got just a straightforward butterfly there and no way of securing it down, which means I've probably just jammed it into the pot. So we'll get it out of this. I am expecting it to be very, very root bound. Of course, one of the issues we're going to have, it's a pot-bellied pot. Pot-bellied pot? Is that a double negative or a double positive? Either way, we're going to have roots going around there. So I'm going to need my improvised, highly expensive Japanese Kama. Actually, got this down the charity shop for £1. And just loosen it up. No hurry. Work your way around. Ready to lift. And even I can see there is just loads and loads of roots there. Interestingly enough, the centre there's not, so it's all around the edge. And we can see just pulling that down. That's been twisting, spinning around us. We've got a lot of roots there. Just carefully sort through. Notice I was using a lot bigger grit there, and I think it's common garden rocks, which, to be fair, the roots haven't disliked. Notice we've got some white root growth, which means it's already starting to grow out. Good, nice, healthy white roots. And I'm just going to continue to go around and just carefully tease that through. I think an interesting thing to notice here is the amount of clay right in there, which means that's the original soil, which I've never actually got out. So I'll do a bit of cleaning around, get that clay out, but at least I've got healthy roots. Okay, well, gone right around it. We've got a lot of roots there, and I am literally just going to cut everything here. I mean, as I say, this is probably the first time these roots have been cut in a very long time. Look at all that. That's an incredible amount of root to come off. I'm quite happy with the amount of healthy roots, so I am going to continue to just get anything that's cut moving downwards. We're not likely to get sub-zero temperatures now for at least 3 weeks that we can see. There's one night where it's going to 0, so I will put it in the cold frame, but to be honest, wouldn't be necessary. So I'm just going to wash that out, get my hands frozen. Okay, well, they've washed out pretty well. We've got a nice fine web here, and I've got to make a decision about whether I actually want this one here crossing. It's quite high up, and I've decided I want to reduce the root plane, so I'm going to remove that one. We've got something lower down here. Oh, that's dead, so we haven't. Okay, so I want to open up this, so we've got a much, well, that's actually going to be the back, but just want to try and see. We've got a great big heavy one here. If you look, this one's coming along, but underneath it we've got this one here. So it's a crosser, so I don't want it. So we'll get rid of it. And again, I'm thinking about removing this one as well. Then we just need to sort out what we've got in here. So I'm going to work my way around. This is the front, this is definitely the front roots here. And I think I might get rid of some of these high ones, to be fair. I'll have a look at that. Because what you want to see is whether or not that's going to create an inverse. Don't know, quite like that. Don't like this one though. So get rid of that one. And don't like these ones either. So we'll get rid of those. We've got some around the base here. We've got this one here that's going all the way around. But there's nice little ones coming here. So let's give it a chance to develop. Get rid of that one. So we've got this nice big long one here. And I know we end up losing so much roots here, but we've got stuff underneath as well. Right here we've got this one here that's going across sideways. That's absolutely useless. We don't want that. Possibly this is too long. Just have a look and see what we can replace. We've got these ones here which I really like. So let's get rid of that knuckle there. Got this bit underneath here. Happy there's going to be a mat coming that way. Got this big one going right across, so that's coming all the way from there. Okay, now there is 2 layers, but I'm going to stay there for now, and that'll be something I'll look at in the next repot, I think. Right, as always, end up taking off an awful lot more than originally intended, but it's unlikely that this is going to come out of a pot again for at least another 4 years, and hopefully there I have a much better chance of creating what I want. Like that, so let's sort the pot we're going to use, get it in there. Okay, well this is the pot I'm going for. It's going to sit in there, and yes, before you all say it,
man, that is so deep.
It is massively deep. In fact, it's over deep. But I'm trying to look at 2 things. I love my Dawn Redwoods. It was in an overly shallow pot, and I didn't get the sort of growth I was hoping for over the last couple of years. Now, obviously, removing the root tangle probably helps with that. What I want to do is give this tree a chance to really put on some root system fibres to fill in all these gaps, so that when I next go into prune, I can take another layer off the bottom. Yeah, probably could do with it being a centimetre shallower, restrained by the fact that I actually haven't got anything of this sort, and I do want to have something that's got a bit of colour and pattern to it. So it's a little bit over deep, but with the Dawn Redwood, better to be safe than sorry. The root system isn't fully developed yet, so let's give it some extra duvet room, so to speak. straightforward tie downs, straightforward wire through, and the netting screens are in. Lovely little picture there. It's just a straightforward cheap China import pot, to be honest. What I will do is add some of this Oceana slow active release fertilizer pellets, and their recommendation is to add them to the soil for repots, which is what I've been doing. Mound the top. Gosh, this is massive. And I'm going to just put plastic hollow tube across the top. Okay, but just make sure all these roots that are desperately trying to get above ground, keep them down. And as you all know, all we're doing is filling in air pockets. And be careful, we don't actually want to be cutting these fine feeder roots. Not jabbing and poking like this. Okay, I'm quite happy with how that's looking. I've got the sun now blaring down on me.
Here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Hopefully that's going to really enjoy being in loads of space. Deep, yeah, a little bit too deep perhaps. And then I just need to look a little bit around these. There's a few buds that have come up that I didn't pick up in the autumn. I might just do a little trimming back to. And as I said, I'd already done my winter-autumn pruning. This one's actually got quite a long gap there between the next set of branches. I'm going to let those grow out, but there's a bud under there. I'm going to see how that develops. That would be much better. Here I've got the same issue. There's only one bud here, so I'm probably going to be looking at what's underneath there. Here we've got lots of little buds here. One growing backwards. We don't want the backward bud, so we'll get rid of that one. Got one there forwards. That one's going to go backwards there, so we don't want that bud. And ultimately I can see that this lower one here will be the branch that I'll actually want. We've got two buds here which I actually really like the look of. Once they both shoot out, I'll see which one I take. Same here there. We've got this pointing upwards, but it's already going to be coming over the top of this. I've actually got two buds there. I'll cut back to them. We've got a little one coming in under here. Have to see what happens. We've got another one that's underneath that. Got a stub there. Same here. We've actually got two buds either side there, so I don't need the ones that are here. But I have got a nice bud here that's going to shoot out this way and create what I want. The main thing we're going to look at is the apex. Bear in mind the height of the tree can't be much above here. We've got loads of buds up here. I probably want it to go off that way. So let's cut that one back to there, which means this is too long. There's no buds until right up here. I don't want that going that way, so I've got something here and here, so I'm actually going to remove it. This will be reduced once I see how these ones grow down here, and the same with this one here. You know what I love about the Dawn Redwood is it can look like there's hardly anything to grow from, and all the tree says is I haven't got enough buds, and it'll send out or open up some new buds right at the base. They're always at the base of the junctions, so you can always start again, just as long the main tree's healthy. I'm going to continue to go around and just try and find myself two advantageous buds relatively close to each other so I can try and start some ramification, and we'll see how it looks later in the year. So I'm pretty well happy with that for now. Obviously next time we're going to see this is when we get through to that sort of mid to late June, probably mid-June, when we're looking for that rust colour. As soon as you see the rust colour, then I'll be doing some pruning on these. But do you know what? I've got some moss growing outside my driveway, so let's just whack a little bit of moss around this thing. See how long before the birds take it. And the nice thing about moss is what it does allow to happen is the development of the roots that are near the surface protects them. Right, so we've got this one done. Yeah, the birds are already sitting on the fence over there laughing at me.
We're your friends.
They're going to be on that straight away. There it is. Very, very happy with the repot. Happy with the amount of roots that we took off, which I'll show you in a minute. There it is. And I'm looking forward to seeing this one go on to bigger and better things. You want to see my roots I took off though? So the damage from that was all of this. That's a lot of roots. It'll be fine though. So now I better go and have a look and see what it's looking like in here. But the process is the same. I might show you how the roots are, but apart from that, I think we'll leave that to your imagination. So, does this need repotting? 4 years? Let's have a look. Oh. Well, have a look underneath there. That is quite a mat of roots all the way around it. Is it absolutely root bound? Probably not. But I think I'll have a look at it and see if we can get into a different pot maybe. Just take that top layer off. Gosh, the thick bark I put in there. I did actually go to town on the roots in the end. Reduced it right down. There was 4 big branches coming from here. I've reduced it to 2. And I think long term, both of those are going to remove. I'm going to ask you to tell me the answer to that. Because underneath, we've actually got quite a good pad supporting the main tree. So if you imagine without those, more traditional, but part of me still likes that. But I'm going to keep those 2, repot it back into there. But yeah, thin that right out. Got rid of. There was so much crossing stuff. Got rid of all that. So anyway, I'm going to put this back in here, and then we'll have a quick chat about what to do about those. These 2 here. Okay, well, I'm glad I made that decision. There it is, it's gone back in the same pot. I've put a rock in between there because if I was going to keep those roots, I'd want to have some sort of reason or excuse that the roots would grow over the top. So we'll see how that looks. And you can imagine moss all around there as it gets on. But it's nicely in there. I've done all the pruning around the different branches, cut back a little bit, and we'll see how the new fronds shoot out in the spring. So it's always difficult to assess how these look until those fronds start coming out. This is an absolutely magnificent old Dawn Redwood, lots of movement in it, you know, over 40 years old, although it's been kept in a pot, so it could have been twice the size if left outside. But yeah, so there's the question, these 2 here. I'm ambivalent towards it. It's a nice word, ambivalent. Both could be removed, could be nice, but I sort of like that. It just makes it feel a bit more prehistoric, I think, for some reason, having these coming down. Makes it look like the tree's really supported, rather than potentially falling over. I'll leave it to you to tell me. There you go. So, that's the 2 biggies that have been repotted. I've got a couple more to do, but they're going to feature in some other videos later on in the year. One's the spooky Dawn Redwood, and another one's my Dawn Redwood cutting to bonsai series. So, we'll see those in another video. Anyway, from Xavier, as the wind howls in down through the Lincolnshire Dales, are there Dales in Lincolnshire? I don't know. I'll say thanks very much for listening. If you've enjoyed this Dawn Redwood series, then have a look through the rest of the playlist, which is in the description. Don't forget, big thumbs up like if you've liked it, and if you think anyone else would enjoy this content, or you just feel that you want to help me out some way, share. Please make sure you're subscribed if you're at all interested in seeing my hair go even greyer than it is now. Apart from that, happy bonsai and God bless. Cheers.